Here is Phil Keane and the howling, screaming V12 Aston Martin.
Yeah, we've got V10s, we've got V8s, but V12s have their own all treat, and it really is a rasping sound there. But Phil Keane, very quick in everything. He puts his tail end into historic cars, modern cars, and really make it fly. Great to see a livery I haven't come across before, the Spiderman livery. This car raced Tommy Dreesy driving it in the States. But again, he is absolutely flying. What's the first sector time waiting for him to go through that? Will it be green on screen? Purple is fastest of anybody as yet. He's really hooking it up.
And now a great image of the Aston coming through the first part of St Mary's. You really saw how much movement there is in the car. You know, already he's out of the second part of St Mary's all the way up until 11th. So I think I could comfortably predict this is going to be the fastest lap we've seen so far. A little slide at the tail of the car as he cuts the nose, gets the nose back in for that second apex. Now already nearly midway down, Lavin Straight, probably getting up to about 165, 170 miles per hour. And then get on those massive front anchors, get the car slowed down. Purple, first and second sectors.
Well, Caro and Ashton Fatemi will be watching almost through sort of the gaps in his fingers, but certainly Phil Keane has not put a wheel on. Final corner negotiated, getting the power down, kicking up the dirt a little bit too wide there potentially, but he kept it straight. Will he get into the 1 minute 40s? 1 minute 14.7. It seems every car goes faster than the previous one by 4/10 of a second, which is precisely what Phil Keane managed to do.
And that time for Phil Keane, obviously quicker than he did this morning, but still a 1/10 of a second away from the fastest time overall. Now, he lost time here on the exit because he ran a little bit wide, ran over the curb, got onto the dirt, and that's costing him maybe a 1/10, 2/10 of a second because he's not getting the maximum grip and traction. The start and finish line, he's coming across. The stopwatch starts now.
Yeah, so Andrew Jordan, full acceleration out of the chicane, keeping it as straight as he can as he turns into the first part of Magic. It's a 2 apex corner, get the flow running through the corner. Job done very nicely indeed. Our first gauge on this is when he gets through the first timing sector. You can see it on the screen. His target time is 23.044 seconds if he's going to be quickest through the first of the 3 sectors. Certainly looking very confident. Well, Purple's better still. It's not just his best, it's the outright best. So he's going even better than Phil Keane, managing the V12 Vantage Aston Martin. That's holding the best time, 1 minute 14.7 in about 40 seconds. We'll find out if this Chevrolet Corvette with Andrew Jordan will be going top.
Key corner for the Corvette, and it looks pretty well executed to me. Andrew Jordan's got the car lined up perfectly, especially on the exit. Now sweeps through the curve on Lavin Straight. Doesn't need to clip the curb on the inside. There's no purpose in doing so. So it gets the run down into the braking zone, beginning now, and then this sort of first apex, and then let the car drift out, and then all of a sudden you're in the chicane. 2 purple sectors, so this looks like a fastest overall of the shootout. Runs the curve as well, but not as bad as Phil Keane.
Yeah, 1 minute 14.740 to beat. Time achieved 1 minute 13.618. I didn't think we'd see a 13, but that was outstanding. Corin and Matthew Home will be delighted with that, and you can see already that, wow, the concentration, I've just got to do that thing. I haven't breathed for a bit, and that's absolutely what Andrew Jordan's thinking.
But looking at his eyes, they're almost out in stalks. I mean, that was a big commitment. Sometimes it doesn't look it from the onboard camera or from the cameras around the circuit, but that was a big commitment. He went for 1 minute 13.6, and he did a 1 minute 40, so he went a second quicker than he did this morning. Now that sounds a very small time increment, but actually at the limit, at the level of these drivers and cars are running at, a second is a massive amount of gain.
This lead battle is fantastic.
Yes,
Ames against Wilson, there's half a door open. No,
yeah, it was almost a switch back from the Cooper on the Brabham, but it didn't happen. Now the Merlin in third place. Is going to be a 3-way battle for the lead of this race.
Callum Grant looking very, very comfortable indeed as he mounts yet another attack. He's dropped Clive Richards, but Clive may be able to close up again because 2 cars fighting can delay each other, 3 cars even more so. But Callum Grant, super brave. That little nose of his Merlin right under the tail of Sam Wilson's Cooper, and yet Clive Richards is trying to hang on in the back. But are we about to have a change to the lead? No, yes, possibly. Maybe. Answers on a postcard.
Yes, side by side through forward order. The Merlin trying to swoop around the outside, and it's done so. And that's maybe compromised the Cooper, which was looking to go up the inside coming into forward order. And Merlin sweeps around there into St Mary's, hard in with moment, and gets the lead and pulls away.
Well, this is the Merlin race for so many years in the historic scene by the late Dennis Welsh, and he would have been proud of that move. And poor Alex Ames didn't know which way to look, a car attacking from either side, but the pace of that Merlin, the bravado entering the first part of St Mary's was fantastic. Bear in mind, Cameron Grant started 7th on the grid from row 3. He's had a fantastic race so far.
Jake Hill and Audrain Motorsport, two super professional winning drivers, and it's lovely watching them in these older cars with the thinner tyres that they have to run. They all have to run the same tyres here at Goodwood, and the slide of the car, the control that you have to play with, so different to modern cars.
Yeah, and there's a controlled Dunlop tyre that everybody is running on, so there's no tyre advantage to one machine or another. But again, Lotterer thinking, I'm getting closer on the brakes. You could see the brake lights of Jake Hill.
Oh,
on the inside! No.
That was a chance. He's still going for it, and Jake Hill's having to really fight this. But remember, when they go down the straight, the Escort definitely seems to have the better pace. What can Audrain Motorsport do?
Undercut, get the nose of the VW on the inside.
Oh, touch!
Well, the rear lens has just popped on the Escort, but Jake Hill consolidated sufficiently, and he's now got the advantage. He's got that little bit of straight line speed as they will race down into Woodcup for the last time in a racing lap.
Wow, that was so close, and that little bit of contact. But it is, as you say, Jake Hill has got in the right place there because he's got the speed down the straight. And surely, even if Audrain brakes as late as possible, he can't really challenge going into the chicane. Oh, and he's got a penalty as well, Lotterer's car has got a penalty from hitting the chicane, so that will actually affect the overall result. It is Jake Hill who takes victory in the Win Percy Trophy after a wonderful battle with Audrain Motorsport. We have just heard that Motorsport may well have a penalty that we may drop him back a bit more than second, but we'll see. Look at this, a chance for Bonamy Grimes, but not quite to get fully ahead. That was as close as we've seen it so far, Alice.
It certainly was, and he's pulling over to defend. Maybe doesn't need to as much. That's going to hamper Will's exit as Grimes is touched right under the rear. The fellow Lotus Climax.
Here we go.
Out the toe, looks like he's got the legs down the straight.
He's going to have a go on the outside. Is he brave enough to brake late on the outside and go round the outside? He's having a go at it. Oh, that's beautiful. That's really skillful driving by Bonamy Grimes, but will he be able to hold on? So far, so good. But Roger Wills will not give up, and that was very impressive. He carried a lot of speed through Madwick. That is not easy, going in wide around another car, that double apex right-hander.
Yeah, super brave stuff. Later on the brakes, I actually thought Roger was still going to stick his nose in there, but thought better of it. And was there any contact? Oh, I think there was slight contact there, Ben. Let's have a little look. Was there? Yes, there was. So.
And we've seen many, and this is the battle for the lead. We might see more contact. This is the battle for the race victory. It's still just being held by the number 31 car of James Thorpe. But my goodness, Fred Shepherd is closer than ever.
He is, and actually it was Thorpe that set the fastest lap of the race, but a nearly identical lap time set by Fred Shepherd. So they'll be flat out. You can see a dab of the brakes as they're approaching the Woodcote corner. Second to last corner on the track is a tricky braking zone. So already coming in there, he's running.
Oh no, he's gone on the grass. Oh, that means he's lost the lead just at that wrong moment. Well, as you said, he was actually in a really good place then, wasn't he?
Yeah, Fred will go, yes, I'm free. So he's free now too. He's got clean air in front of him. So he's got to set perfect lap times now because James is fast. So we were just saying it's a tricky braking zone, and right on cue, James showed us there. I think he just went in a little bit too hot. The rear stepped out there, look. And then, yeah, once you're on the grass, you're going to do a good job to control it, and that he did. A great demonstration of car control from James Thorpe, and the door opened. Fred Shepherd said, well, that was easier than I expected, thank you very much.
I do wonder if, because I think when you've been running these really fast, these big, heavy V8 power cars, the brakes do take a little bit of a pounding, and sometimes you've got to actually brake a little earlier than you were doing like a single lap in qualifying.
He's just got to beat that man Jackson. That's what he's got to concentrate on. But Levi Day doing a cracking job out front there.
He is doing a great job, and I just wonder, Michael Russell, is he going to get that little bit more performance we saw in the latter stage of the race yesterday? He's tried to go at the outside for second place, but I'm not sure he's going to do that there.
No, he isn't. You'll see Jackson probably just got to cover his line off a little bit as they come down into here. So there's not a lot in it, isn't the top speed, is it?
It's amazing the top speed of the two bikes up front, which are in a different form to the bike in third, and yet they're doing pretty much exactly the same speed down the main straight. In the corners, there doesn't seem to be a huge difference either.
It looks a little bit like the Triumph, the Triumph of number 68 Russell. It just feels like it's a little bit more compliant, a little bit more comfortable over the bumpy section, especially turn one, where you see the 250 just feeling a little bit rigid, the 350s, and his Triumph just seems to soak it all up a fraction better.
Yeah, but it's also a heavier bike too.
It is.
The way it floats into a corner is slightly different.
Yeah, and he's very, very smooth, Russell, as well. But it is Jackson back in the lead. But here comes Levi Days. He's not going to quite get there for the kink.
Nearly, but not quite. And now Russell goes around the outside. Now we're seeing this sort of extra oh my goodness, that was close front to rear. But now he's tucking to the inside. He's taken second. Can he take the lead?
Yeah, and remember, this is the last lap. So at the moment, it's going to be Jackson. They are really on it. What can Russell do? He's got to try and force a move. Remember, he's got to beat him by half a second if he wants to take the win.
Well, let's see. We are into the final stages of this second race. Remember, it's combining the two together that makes such a difference. And yesterday it was Dan Jackson who took the win. And Michael Russell needs to get past him and get more than half a second ahead. But I'm not sure he's going to do that.
No, Jackson was so good coming out of there. He's covering his line back marker ahead. That is actually Michael Russell's dad, who's doing a great job there. But they're going to come through. Are they going to hit him just before the chicane?
It looks like Dan Jackson's on target for 2 wins. If they get this right into the chicane, it could get even closer. But they've kept it clean. Beautifully done. Getting past the other bike. And Dan Jackson has taken 2 out of 2 victories, and he is definitely the overall winner of the Hailwood Trophy this year. What a wonderful battle that was. Track, and we're all set. Lights, the flag goes down, and we've got the first start from Guy Smith that has taken it away very, very effectively. And Guy Smith from that pole position, but he's already under pressure. Of course, from Max Chilton, we heard how Max is very keen to try and take the victory, slipping and sliding around all over the place. But as you can see, the Ford Lotus Cortinas have a bit of an edge over the Minis at the start. We've got 3 Minis now battling together.
We have, and I wonder if they were going to work together. No, not so much. They're 3 abreast as they come through the kink at Ford. What a sight. Only get this at Goodwood. Oh, they're banging doors as well. Something comes up, whatever. One of the Minis in the middle, the number 76, but they've safely made it round and back to the front. Max Chilton has lost a little bit of time to Guy Smith. He's under pressure from Justin Law.
He is, but Nick Swift, as you say, did a fantastic job. Yes, this battle, Max Chilton on the inside of the 2 Ford Lotus Cortinas. I think he's just about to hold on to second place as Justin Law couldn't quite get past, but this is helping Guy Smith make a break. But again, they're side by side in the battle for second place. Through the dust they go from the oil that went down during that out lap originally, and they're still side by side as they head down towards Woodcote Corner. Who's going to be braver on the brakes? Is it going to be Justin Law on the left, or is it going to be Max Chilton? We can hear the brakes working well. They're still side by side, but finally Justin Law gets through.
Yeah, he swoops down, but Max going to have a look at getting the cut.
And there's still this battle, as you say, going on. Very, very close in the fight with these 3 very different looking cars. The RS2000 still just managing to fend off the Mazda at this stage, but it's getting close to battle for second, and the Mazda now coming through. Has it got the speed down the straight line? I think it has got just a little bit more straight line speed.
But he's got track position, which is the more important thing coming into Woodcote. Now the Escort's trying to go a little bit deeper on brakes to get himself some advantage, but look, clever driving.
Yeah.
The Ford was in the wrong part of the racetrack at the wrong time, and that's allowing the Mini to get back into this battle for 4th position. 3rd position is the Escort, 4th is the Mini, and in 5th place, that little feisty Ford Fiesta.